Welcome to the Modernize or Die Podcast, CFML News Edition, where we keep you up to date with everything going on in the Cold Fusion community. We'll share the latest news on events, releases to engines, frameworks, libraries, and tools, as well as spotlighting quality content from the community. Welcome to the Modernize or Die Podcast, CFML News Edition. Episode, it's actually 163. Always got a typo up there. But we're back September 13th. We had a couple weeks off because End of the Box kept us very, very busy. How are you, Daniel? You ready to be back in action?
I am. End of the Box was crazy, but it was awesome. And as you could kind of tell by a few minutes delay, we're still kind of recovering ourselves. But it's a good recovery.
Yeah.
Oh, I see things flopping around there. News.
Yep.
Oh, there we go.
A little curse of the technology rebooted itself right before the podcast went live, so you can blame me and my hardware curse. But I'm back.
Oh my gosh.
Yep, had a little bit of that on ITB as well, but overall went really well. So let's get into it. So first off, thanks to our sponsors, Ortus Solutions. Without them, we wouldn't be here, right? So they make CommandBox, ForgeBox, TestBox, all the best boxes out there. And there's a few ways they can say thanks, right?
Absolutely. So the first way, the biggest way right now, this minute, this second, is to buy a workshop ticket for after CF Summit. You learn CommandBox APIs, UGS, and Quasar for mobile, desktop, and the web. Now, Gavin and I gave, well, mostly Gavin and I gave this abbreviated version of this workshop at End of the Box, and it was very well received. So coming out to Vegas and take it 2 days with Gavin and Lucee, and what more can you ask for? So quite a way to say thank you and come to Vegas. I suppose you can also like and subscribe to our videos on YouTube. You can help Ortus reach for the stars by starring and forking our repos. We do have a cool little module from Eric that will show you how to do all that automatically. You can subscribe to this podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. You can sign up for a free or paid account in CFCasts. We're always releasing new content. We have our Box Life store. You can see some of the cool shirts. You ever see us at conferences and some of the cool shirts that we wear? Well, we get them from the Box Life store. I am not wearing mine today because mine is still in the laundry. There's some miscommunication with somebody on having it available because I forgot to mention it. So, oops. Or you could always buy Ortus's book, 102 CommandBox HMVC Quick Tips and Tricks on Gumroad.
Yep. And then obviously we have our Suave Patreon supporters. Word of the week, Suave. Thanks, Eric, for starting that trend. Now we've got to use a thesaurus every once in a while. But thanks to our Patreon supporters, we have 40 Patrons right now providing 100% of the funding for this podcast. So we're really grateful that you guys are supporting us to do this. And that means that we have funding, and we're about 33% of the way to fully funding all the hosting required for ForgeBox.io, our package management for all CFML tools, not just CommandBox stuff, and that obviously supports our AWS bills and everything else. And so thank you, Patreon supporters, and we'll talk more about them at the end, as well as give you some of the reasons you should be a Patreon supporter, some of the perks, and I got some ideas floating around for some more things, so maybe you guys can give us some feedback there. So so thank you for that. Okay, next up, we have our news and announcements, and we have a couple of things here. It's been a busy couple of weeks, so this is actually a busy podcast. We're going to try and cover like the couple of weeks we missed here. But first, Into the Box recap. So many updates, to be honest, so we didn't want to take over the whole podcast here. So this Friday, we're going to actually have a little Into the Box recap show. Luis, Brad, Eric, and myself are going to come together, and we're going to put it up on YouTube so you guys can jump in there and ask questions just like this. We're finalizing the time. I think we're going to try and do it 12:30 Central Time. If that doesn't work, we'll do our 11 a.m. normal time. But Friday morning, we'll be tweeting about it soon, so come check it out. But you get more of the recap, but we'll give you sort of like a short little summary here. So basically, big news is all the pre-conference sessions are up on CFCasts, and all the normal sessions are up on CFCasts, but there's one caveat. They're exclusive right now for ITB ticket holders. So if you've got an ITB attendee ticket for someone who was in there in person, or if you got a virtual ticket, those videos are already up there on CFCasts for you. Normally, CFScraps subscriptions holders will be able to access those videos, but there's an exclusive little window. So basically, there's a September, October, November. Is basically exclusive time. So if you still want to watch those videos in the next couple of months, you can get a virtual ticket, and we'll have more information on the site about that. But then those will be available basically Christmas time, so you guys can check them all out over the holidays for those who have a CFCast subscription and don't need them right away. So they will be still coming there, but just want to let you guys know there's a difference. So if you paid for the online virtual ticket or whatever, you guys can go watch them now. Other people got to wait their turn. So. But also, the keynotes are free. So they were free streamed live on YouTube, and they're still free on YouTube. And we have a couple of blog posts that we're going to share here with the recaps. And so even if you don't get to watch the presentation right now, maybe you can go check out the slides or the repo. And then when the presentation's available for you, you can do that. So all the content's out there. We're gathering up all the slides and PDFs and code from everybody, but most of them are already there. So pretty exciting, and we wanted to get this turned around ASAP for you guys. So we worked hard all weekend. So there you go. And we had a few modules announced, right? Some new ones, some updates. You want to give them a quick 50-minute or 50,000 feet overview of what happened?
I do. So I'm posting those keynotes really quick from the YouTube.
Cool.
Okay, so lots of new modules released. One of the big ones, what I'm very excited about, is the Tri-CF partnership with Ortus. We announced the roadmap, working with Abram on that. If you've used tricf.com before, we got some really cool things in the works with him, and big thank you to him for helping us out with that. Also, CBQ for CBQing, CB Playwright, which is the testing framework, CB Commerce, which is an e-commerce framework, CBFS for CommandBox file system, a virtual file system for being able to abstract putting files out in different locations. CommandBox Escher, which is Brad's and I believe Scott's cutting edge for 1985 GUIs for command line interfaces, which is really cool how they're doing it in CommandBox to make it a very workable GUI, which is awesome.
Yep.
Also updates to CBWire. We had version 2 launched, which we'll get to that in a little bit. ForgeBox version 7 and CommandBox version 5.6. So lots of cool things.
To be honest, there's so many things I can't keep track, so that's just the things I remembered off the top of my head. So that's why we have a whole show. We'll be going through it. And again, the best place to check out a lot of that stuff is in the keynote. We go over some numbers. We talk about how many millions of downloads we've got for Docker images and installs for CommandBox and just all this cool stuff. It's really, really interesting. The keynotes are great, and we announced, like I said, some big things. The Tri-CF partnership was a big deal. We've been kind of secretive about that for a while, but we got some big things planned, and yeah, we're excited to bring that to you guys. So very cool. And as far as news goes too, CFWheels just announced that they retired the Google discussion list previously, but they've also retired their Slack channel on the CFML Slack. So they've been moving over towards those GitHub discussions, and a lot of open source projects are doing that. And I know that's closer to the code, more relevant, easy to find, more Google searchable and everything. And but yeah, taking down their Slack, that's kind of a big step, I thought. So, but that's what they decided to do, and so they've done that. So it's archived now, and you guys can go check everything out right on the GitHub discussions. So
yes, they're no longer slackers.
Yep, they're no longer slackers.
Good for them.
Okay, let's get into our new releases and updates. And again, high level, we threw a few at you with Into the Box stuff, but there's a few other ones too. So
some of the big ones, Fusion Reactor 9 is released. We'll post the release notes. Charlie wrote up a blog article on it, which is also in the blog section. Gavin, I threw that down there for when we get to it.
Cool.
Well, if you want to post it, that's cool. Next, CommandBox 5.6.0 is released. Woohoo! More CommandBox. More CommandBox. So minor releases for the CLI, because they make fun of me when I call it the CLI, and Package Manager. 25 completed tickets with bug fixes, new features, library updates, and more. Another one, CBWire version 2 is released. If you haven't seen CBWire, go check that out. Grant is doing an awesome job on that, and it feels like he's releasing a new version every Into the Box. So
new major, but yeah, I think he's already he popped out a couple more smaller fixes too, because there were some people said something with the CBWire too. There was this or that, or maybe we could do this. And while he was into the box, he was knocking out releases. So he's been tweeting about it too. So follow Grant Copley on Twitter if you don't already. But yeah, he's definitely been popping out a few. So major release, like you said. But yeah, he's on a mission, and his sessions were great. I really enjoyed it, and I've got a challenge for him. We'll talk about that later.
Oh man, rock and rolling. And I would not be surprised, not to put the pressure on him, but into the box next year, maybe we'll see version 3, since he's averaging one every end of the box new release.
Yep.
Sorry, Grant. No pressure.
No pressure at all.
But you are awesome, so thank you.
Yep. And then, so next up, we had some stuff from Lucee. So they announced an experimental feature in 5.3, and it's going to be a full feature in Lucee 6. They got query listeners, so now you've got hooks that you can be configured to run before and after a query is executed. So that's kind of interesting. You got interceptor-style hooks for queries. So that's out in 5.3. I think he said 5.3.10. It's experimental, so check out that little post that Daniel put in the chat there. And also, I know a lot of people who aren't using the CommandBox Docker images have been waiting for a Lucee ARM version, and they've just released native Lucee ARM Docker images that support Apple M1 and M2. So Justin Carter's been working on that, and they have some out there. So if you guys want to use the native Lucee image, and you're on ARM, now they've got an option for you. So yeah, go check that out. And
very nice.
Yeah, and the reason I mentioned the CommandBox image is just because with CommandBox we tried to offer it on, there's I don't know, the matrix is pretty big. We've got all the different versions of engines and all the different, platforms and stuff. So you've been able to run Lucee on the ARM for a while, but that's through the CommandBox ones. Again, Lucee does some different things, and check out Mark Drew as well. He's been doing some crazy stuff with the Lucee docs to try and get them super thin, super small, and super fast. So just a side note there, but very
nice.
cool. Nice to see Lucee working hard on those Docker images. And Charlie had a pre-conference session talking about the 3 different image libraries. So basically Docker images from Adobe, from Lucee, and then from Ortus. And he kind of compared and contrasted, and that pre-conference session was really great too. Okay, well, next up we have webinars, meetups, and workshops. And first up, let me just say the Ortus webinar this week. Again, we're planning. We're not sure exactly the time, so we will be tweeting about it. But it's going to be Friday, September the 16th. And again, it'll be either 11 a.m. or 12:30 a.m. Central Time. But you guys get to come join the Ortus team as they discuss Into the Box 2022 with a recap on all the releases, updates, talk about HappyBox, the hallway track, the food, which was pretty damn amazing. And then what's coming into the box 2023, which is less than 9 months' time, I think, if doing my math badly.
What?
So we might even give you some tentative dates later on in the conferences section. But so that'll be live on YouTube. Basically, go put the little reminder there, subscribe if you haven't, and then we'll see you guys on Friday for the recap. It'll be pretty cool. So
9 months, man. It feels like we just hit Into the Box last week.
I know, time flies.
Again, apparently.
So what's Adobe up to?
So we got lots of Adobe workshops and webinars. Several of them coming up. We've got one on Wednesday, September 21st at 9 a.m. CEST with Damian Bruindox. That's Central European Standard Time, I believe.
Yep.
Awesome. Thursday, September 22nd, 10 a.m. PDT, so Pacific Time. Building custom Adobe Connect pods with CF 2021 with Mark Takata. Wednesday, November 23rd at 10 a.m. PST. Building native mobile apps with Adobe CF and Monaco.io. I don't know what Monaco.io is, but that's with Mark Takata. Another one on Thursday, December 22nd, 2022, 10 a.m. Wouldn't you know it, Mark Takata, Winter Holiday Special, a preview of Cold Fusion 2023. That's awesome, Mark. That's great. And as always, if you want to see all their workshops, we'll post a link in there, and Gavin already did that. Cool.
Yep. I don't want to post each one, so I just sent the link. You guys can go check them out, find out all the details for those. So lots of great stuff coming from them. It's good to see it in the future, too.
Gavin is much less verbose than I am.
Apparently, we're at VideoCast, we're in restricted mode. I don't know why we're in restricted mode, but
VideoCast restricted mode.
Oh, I don't know. We'll have to look into that a little later.
They probably finally caught up to you, Gavin.
Maybe. Interesting. Okay.
Well, I guarantee you everything here is safe for work. So I don't know what YouTube's going on, but we're all good.
Yep. Okay. Well, next up, we have some CFCasts update. So CFCast.com, the one place for all your great CFML video content. And we're releasing new content every week. And as I mentioned, for ITB ticket holders only, we just released 36 videos, I think, in the last week. So all the pre-conference sessions, so all 10 of those. We have all the regular sessions. The keynotes will be added there shortly, but those are up on YouTube for you, but we'll be adding them in there. We've got slides, repos, code. We also have links to the session survey, so if you did attend, please take the session survey, give us some feedback. And if you do, and put your email address in there, you go in the draw to win some prizes. And next Tuesday, we're going to be announcing some prizes for that. So if you guys did go to the conference, check out those session surveys, fill them out, please, and we'll announce some tickets. So the feedback's immensely important to us to make sure it's a success. And we also had the Ortus webinar for the Into the Box preview and Q&A, where we teased a bunch of those new products. And then, of course, we got 2 of the new videos for ForgeBox Module of the Week and VS Code Module of the Week. And then now that we're finally done with all this ITB stuff, we can get back to making some more video series, can't we, Daniel?
Absolutely. More video series. Series? What's the plural?
I don't know.
Series. More videos.
Yep.
More series of videos. There we go. More ForgeBox and VS Code podcast snippet videos. We pull them from here and we post them, and you like them. Boxifying a third-party library from Gavin. CodeBox Elixir from Eric. Getting started with ContentBox from Daniel. That's me. I put that on there to, it's out there, so now I have to do it. Also, ITB videos released in December for those who are not ITB ticket holders.
Yep.
If somebody wanted to still buy them right now and get them right away, is there an option for that, Gavin?
Yeah, we're setting up a new purchase system. The Eventbrite was all connected to the actual conference. So if you reach out, we'll send you a Stripe link to pay, but we're going to get that added to the ITB site right away so you guys can purchase those.
Yep.
And then that way you get that the immediate access, and you get access before everybody else up on CFCasts. Yep. I mean, we need to make sure that we give some exclusives away, but yeah. Some of those people just like, I'll just wait till next week and get it for part of my subscription, but we don't want everybody else who was, paying for the live stuff and everything to get gypped there. No offense to anybody, that's just the way it works. So,
but you could pay and be part of the people that got it now.
Yep. I mean, there's a lot of great stuff in there. Like I said, we got, I think, 35 sessions total or something like that. A lot of great content, a lot of great authors. It was really, really awesome. So, yeah, get them while they're hot, as John says. Yep. And then
agreed.
Might have been John's stuff there too, right?
Yeah, John's in there for. I just want to say, great job to the team for getting them turned around so quickly. I mean, Into the Box is a huge, huge undertaking for everybody. Gavin, you were like, well, I'm going to it, but you were definitely one of the heroes, as were several others, and we appreciate all that everyone's done to put on this conference.
Yeah, it's a lot of work for sure to get everything flowing, and thanks for those who are giving us the feedback in the conference itself and the live stream, because sometimes we had some audio glitches we need to fix, and as you can see here, there's just tons of content. We got Michael Bourne, Matthew Clemente, Zach, Kai, Daniel, Charlie's in here. This is just the pre-conference on page 1. Then you get over to the next ones. So we got like John CB Commerce and Brad Woods. I mean, the whole schedule's in here. Lots of great content. I mean, and just look at it here. 30 hours, almost 30 hours of content, which is pretty amazing. Once we put the keynotes in there, we'll probably be about 32 hours. So
at least,
yeah, at least it's just it's great stuff. And like I said, we're real proud of it. It turned out great. We had a lot of great feedback, and we on the plane back, we tune in and we look and like, oh wait, guess what? There's recaps already. John Ferrara recapped on it. Nolan recapped on it. It was kind of cool because Nolan was talking about how he loved the sessions and everything was great. He says, but the best conversation he had the entire week was, at basically a dessert and breakfast. And I'm like, wait a minute, I think I was in that conversation, which it was really cool. The whole way track was amazing. Anyway, we're talking about CFCasts. So you can't get all that CFCast, but next time go to the Into the Box and you'll get those too. But anyway, let's keep going because we have some conferences trainings.
You're up. Yep. So in case you missed it, Into the Box pre-conference was August 29th through September 2nd. We just talked about it and all the videos. Um, we'll post that link. Also, in case you missed it, Into the Box 2022 was last week, 6th, 7th, and 8th in Houston, Texas. We'll go ahead and post those links. You've heard us talking about it already. We got lots and lots of stuff to get through. So let's just keep trucking.
Yep. And like I said, though, the hallway track and everything, the meals are great. It was just a great experience, and it was really good to be back in person. And the virtual stuff is great, and everyone who was on there, it was really good to have them involved. But sometimes it's just better to be there. So hopefully we can get more people there. And we'll tell you a little bit more as we scroll down. Next up, we have CF Summit.
Oh, wait, really quick. John made a comment about Eric is not in the podcast, so it can be longer. Let me tell you, John, Eric is so much more efficient than Gavin and I. Gavin and I tend to wander on sometimes, and Eric's very much down to business. So it would not be longer with Eric. It would be shorter and more succinct and clearer.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. Eric is not on the podcast. It can be longer.
I totally misread that.
Yeah, I'm kind of like a n to the power of n type log algorithm for sure. I talk until my point makes sense. That's usually the way I work. So
or until the last person logs off.
Yep.
Woo!
But yep. So next up, the next big thing coming your way is CF Summit. So CF Summit is coming up fast and furious. It's going to be just 3 weeks away now. So October 3rd and 4th is CF Summit Conference. They've actually put out the schedule today. Daniel was checking out that, and basically don't miss day one is what we're saying, right, Daniel? Because we're all on day one. So I'll share my screen again as we give some summary. But yeah, there's a lot of great speakers here. So, oh wow, you're right after the keynote. So
I know, right? After everyone's all excited for the keynote, and then they're gonna see me.
Yep. Well, there's 3 tracks by the look of it. So you got Daniel, Chase, and Kevin Wright, and then we got Nickel, Andy, and then myself. And then after lunch, Brad's up, and Pete Freitag. Oh, Brad and Pete Freitag. I don't know, man. Those are
that's a tough one. Well, they're all tough.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then Luis is right after that. So man, and he's up against Matt Gifford and Christoph. Man, so there's some good content there. But it's kind of cool that we're basically one whole day Ortus. You could just watch Ortus all day and then go have fun at the grand party in the Mirage pool area, which looks like fun. But yeah, if you go look, the registration tab, the event pass is still $99. They're working hard. They're taking a big loss to make this a success here. So you guys should definitely take them up on that. And then right after that, we have our little training, right? So if you guys want to, you can stick around another 2 days in Vegas and hang out with me, Luis, and I think Brad and Eric are going to try and hang out in the area too. Daniel's going to be there. You're actually taking the certification, right, Daniel?
I am taking the certification. There was an opportunity to do that, and you guys don't need me for the 2-day workshop. You've got enough brain power there that I would just be fetching coffee. So I'm like, you know what? Let me do the Adobe certification. So we'll check it out.
Yep. So we expect a full report on that. So that'll be pretty neat. And then again, this workshop is going to be a lot of fun. We did a 2-day version of it. Sorry, a 1-day version of Into the Box, and we had some really good feedback. Basically, a couple of people just, they gave us some testimonials, so you'll see that in an email going out for talking about that. But we had a lot of fun. We covered a lot of stuff. And then, we're getting some free stuff away. So we want to make sure that this workshop is a huge success. And so we're going to give you the free Zero to Hero workshop to watch on CFCasts before you show up. That way, if you attend the workshop, you're ready to go. You know all the CommandBox stuff, and we can jump straight into APIs and get to Vue.js and building apps with Quasar. And then we're going to give you a free t-shirt. I'll be talking about that a little bit more on the Friday episode, where we've got a new initiative from Ortus, and you'll see that in the keynote. But we're getting a new shirt there. You get Luis's Modern CFML book for free as well. So we're trying to make it worthwhile. And if you've already booked your flights and you need to change your dates to stay for the workshop, we'll even give you $50 off to cover your little airfare change. So
nice.
We're trying to make it work. Obviously, ITB kept us very busy, so now we want to make sure everyone can come to this one. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully, you guys can come join us there. Be a great workshop. So,
I see a little note from Eric. He will not be there for the training, actually.
Oh, okay.
I hope we just didn't lose potential customers because of that. But I think thanks for letting us know, Eric.
Yeah, that's right. He had already had his timeline figured out because Luis and I are running the workshop. But anyways, we like to try and hang around and meet with customers and mingle and stuff. But we got places to be, things to do. So very
Okay,
cool.
so moving on from Adobe or Scope Fusion stuff, we've got the Awesome Day Online Conference, Thursday, October 20th. This is the AWS Awesome Day. They're bringing the cloud down to earth. Free virtual 3-hour AWS cloud training event. I think this is really for anybody. I don't think it's no experience necessary to come to this one.
Yeah, I mean, that's the essential training to begin your cloud journey. So if you're looking at jumping in for the first time, this sounds perfect. And even if you have done a little bit, I think it's worth jumping in. It's only a 3-hour commitment, and here's a perfect agenda to walk through if you're not sure. Jump in, and we'll share those links in the chat, and you guys can check that out. Like I said, it looks like a really good workshop day, and I like the way they do that too. They have quite a few free things from AWS Summit and stuff like this. So I know that they have the reInvent, which is like 5,000 people and $1 bazillion, and it's a 25-day event. Feels like it. The online one was, but it's a great event. But for you just not sure if you want to get in there, something like this is perfect. Or look out for one of those AWS summits as well, which is like a 1-day, what the heck do all your 300 services actually do type of day.
It could be very whelming. Some might even say overwhelming. I should sign up for this though, Gavin. I might try and do that after this.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good one. Like I said, just to get a touch up. I use AWS for certain things, but it's nice to sort of recap. And of course, Brian Class was unable to make it into the box. He had prior commitments, but we still love him, and he's the guy to look at and watch his stuff. So check him out at CF Summit, and his talk at Adobe Dev Week was released as well. So, but yeah, AWS is pretty awesome. There's a lot of amazing things you can do. We had Seth Stone talking about it. George Murphy was working with AWS at the conference too.
Oh yeah, CommandBox. Yeah.
Yep. So
awesome. Well, we also have another Into the Box Latam on December 5th or 7th. More information, I guess, is still coming very soon. So be on the lookout. That's Into the Box Latam. That's in El Salvador.
Yep, and we have a good number of people from the Ortus US team making their way down there too. So they're brushing up on their Spanglish, but a lot of people in El Salvador actually speak English, so they'll be presenting some in English, some in Spanish. But if you are in that area, it'll be perfect for you. I know that a couple of people in South America were excited to have something a little closer to them, but we're excited to be able to do that. And yeah, so keep an eye out. We will be in ITB Latam mode since ITB Houston is done. Sorry, I'm talking a lot today. I'm excited to be back on the podcast.
We're excited to have you back, Gavin.
Yep. Okay, so now the big announcement is the next conference after that is ITB 2023. So Into the Box 2023 is going to be the 10th Into the Box, which is a big deal for us. And for those, I don't think I mentioned it, CF Summit's actually their 10th as well. So it's kind of cool that we're right up there with CF Summit with the 10th conference coming up too. And then we're having that, and right now we're just waiting on the hotel's final sign off. But at this time we're looking at I think it's the 15th through the 17th of May, or is it? Let me see. I got to pull up my calendar to make sure here.
I'm doing that too. I want to say
I think
17th,
17th, 18th, 19th. Yep. So basically, it's after Mother's Day, so you can get your Mother's Day stuff in, make the mother feel good, and then she can leave her family and go Into the Box. Or you can, leave your wife at home and come, depending on that. But I was thinking, yeah, it's like my wife want to go too. It's going to be in Houston again, the same venue, which was amazing. We had, a great time there. So we're just finalizing those dates, but it looks like right in the middle of May. So after Mother's Day and those early month commitments, before Memorial Day and all the end of school stuff. So right there in the middle. Hopefully we'll be able to get a lot more people there. I know that the schedule change this year affected it. COVID's still been affecting it. So get back to May. And hopefully the 10th will be the biggest, best yet.
Yep. And obviously, once we know for sure, we will be shouting it from the rooftops, because that means only 9 months to get our stuff together.
Yep. So we'll start planning workshops for next year. We'll start getting this call for speakers out in a couple months, and hopefully by end of the year we'll have it done. But get your requests in for travel, get your requests in for budget. for those companies that need to get things in before the end of the year. We're trying to make it early enough that you guys can plan, and it's going to be great. So
Yeah,
you
I also
definitely
want
want
to
to
make
come.
it the biggest one ever. So
Yep, for sure. We're just making those projector screens bigger and bigger. Soon enough, we'll just be projecting on the side of a huge building. But we're getting there. And then CF Camp, again, not this year, but hopefully they'll be summer 2023. So you have Into the Box in May, hopefully CF Camp in I think like June, July. That's the goal. And then we also announced Into the Box that we have a European office opening. So CF Camp or ITB, something will happen. We're going to have some Europeans conferences, one or the other, very soon because Ortus is going European.
I want to volunteer for that conference.
Yeah, I'm definitely on the list. My wife will have to come to that one because I need to go see her Italian roots. So, for sure. So, very cool. More conferences, go to comms.tech if you need anything more, but we're pretty happy with what we're pumping out here. So go sign up for CF Summit, and we'll see you guys soon.
Yep. Yeah, I feel like we need an intermission here, but let's just keep plugging away.
Yeah, let's have a breath. Everybody breathe. 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 John's asking Italian or Sicilian. They grew up in Lucca, Italy. That we have to go to Scotland too. So
aren't they all? Aren't Sicilians Italians as well? Or did I just make a major social blunder with that comment?
I'm not Italian, so I'm not going to make any judgment on any of that. So we'll have to go find out. We'll have to go ask the locals. But
I didn't mean to offend anybody if I unintentionally did. So
yeah,
but
it happens. I don't know any better either. Okay, well. Blogs, tweets, and videos of the week. So first one up, we have Fusion Reactor 9. So Fusion Reactor 9 has been released, and Charlie's been so nice to blog it in the Charlie fashion. And so I'll share my screen for those looking. But it's got a little bit of difference here. So like they're separating the features for on-prem versus cloud users. Basically there's a big difference here, but they've been migrating slowly over years and everything, and I really like the way that they've been updating it, and the cloud version is awesome. So read the details here because it's got a lot of detail. But I really want to find out more about this, and we'll have to ping Brad. Brad, is CF Fusion Reactor 9 already in the CommandBox updates? Because we have a module for that, so I'll have to find out more about it. But yeah, this is some detailed logging. I'll have to dive into this later. But yeah, thanks Charlie for giving us such detailed write up on that. So Fusion Reactor 9, go find out all you need to know with Charlie's blog post. We also mentioned earlier CFWheels channel on CFML Slack has been archived. So again, don't use Slack anymore. It's still there if you want to see some old messages, but use the GitHub discussion site for all the stuff to do with CFWheels, please. What else we got?
Oh, lots and lots of things. So I'm going to kind of go quickly just to, inch the time. Well, we got another blog article from Charlie Earhart. He's going to be presenting at Adobe CF Summit, and he's got some anniversaries coming up. I don't know if you're sharing your screen.
I sure am, because I think this is pretty cool. Obviously, we mentioned CF Summit is the 10th version, but there's also a few other pretty amazing anniversaries in here, isn't there?
Yeah, it's his 10th year straight presenting to that event, which makes sense because it's their 10th summit. So we all could have guessed that one. One shy of being 170th CF presentation he's created, and the 290th event at which he's presented at. Man, that guy gets around. His first talk was way back in 1998 at the Maryland CFUG. It's 25 years ago. As another anniversary, he helped reprise the talk a few months later. It would be the first national CF conference held in July of 98. So yeah, Charlie's been around the block.
Yeah, but I mean, 170th presentation, that's crazy. And he's presented like 290? Oh man, I thought Brad talked a lot, but he takes the cake. But it's great content too. It's great to see him contributing, and he's not even coding, like he's a consultant that helps people get their systems up and running and troubleshooting, and it's great to see him. You see, you don't have to be a coder to still be a valuable member of this community, and it shows. That's awesome.
I'm sure if you add up all the time Charlie saved people from troubleshooting, and yeah, That'd be another cool stat he could put up there.
There's a reason he doesn't advertise, because word of mouth is king, and he does a great job, money back guarantees and all this stuff, and he's always busy. So thanks, Charlie, and he's actually too busy to join us today in the chat. He's actually on a call, but usually he's in there correcting us and adding more information, and we love Charlie. But
Yep, we love Charlie. He's probably fixing somebody's problem as we speak.
Yep.
Okay, so next up, blog article from Grant Copley, no more page refreshing with CBWire and TurboDrive. So TurboDrive, you don't need CBWire to use TurboDrive, but if you have CBWire, it works even better. It just enhances the user experience of your service and apps by removing unnecessary page refreshes. We got the blog article. You can check that out. You can see what it's doing. I saw some demos of this stuff, and man, like I said before, Grant is awesome.
Yeah, it's cool, built on the Livewire technology, and I didn't know this until the conference, but the same guy who wrote Alpine JS wrote Livewire, and that's why they work so well together, and that's pretty awesome. So now I have a even bigger appreciation of the both of them, and it makes sense, really. Like, Alpine's pretty slick and cool. I call it Vue Lite. It's really powerful, and then CBWire is awesome. So anyway, you're up. Keep talking.
Yep. Caleb, I don't remember his last name, but yep. Okay, next one, we've got an article from John Farrar, his Into the Box 2022 review, where John goes through and talks about Into the Box last week, all the things and all the things that he enjoyed and sessions, and really it's just read it. You get kind of that excitement for the flavor of what happened. And then following that, Nolan Herc also did an Into the Box 2022 recap. Nolan does this a lot. He goes to conferences, comes back, gives a really nice detailed recap of all the things, sessions we liked, and really both of those. Just go check those out, and you'll get a feel for what Into the Box was like from somebody that's not works for Ortus.
Yep.
So,
and it's cool too.
Nolan,
yeah, Nolan, also points out you don't have to be a CommandBox user to get a lot out of Into the Box. He counted 10 sessions and some of the workshops, pre-conference sessions that were nothing to do with CommandBox. Some of them obviously tie into CommandBox. We're in the CommandBox ecoverse, I guess the Ortus ecosystem, but a lot of them work perfectly well with a legacy app, and some of the workshops actually were like how to, jazz up your your legacy and traditional sites, and how to transfer them or how to Dockerize them. So you don't have to be a CommandBox lover to attend.
Yeah, and actually there was one guy, I don't remember his name. I feel bad about this, but he was a sysadmin that came to Into the Box because his team members were using Cold Fusion and CommandBox, and he wanted to see what it was all about. So not even a coder, he's just there and he was in some of the CommandBox sessions, sysadmin sessions, and you got to talk to Brad, and it was, it's still something for everybody.
Yep. And then, John Farrar had his wife there too, so she was joining some of the hallway track conversations and jumping in. It was good to see her there as well, and we had a little laugh at Happy Box with the mariachi band and everything, and so it was good to see them. Okay, well, let me share my screen because the next one is from the infamous Adam Cameron. So I read this title, was like, oh no, what is he talking about now? Because he said CFML, looking at how CFWheels messes up a loop. I'm like, man, he really knows how to work the words, right?
He's got that way with words.
And the funny thing is, I think his dad was a writer, and so he's pretty elegant with words, but sometimes, you wonder. But he does show this little loop here, and so I don't know if you can see it or not, but did anybody see what might be wrong with this loop? So 3, 4, 5 seconds. So for local key in application.wheels.cache, as you loop through this for loop, you're checking to see if the key is expired or not. But it keeps giving an error saying the key doesn't exist because it's a cache. It cleans itself up. So of course, as you're looping through stuff, it's removing it. The first line is like looping through a cache item, seeing if it's there, and by the time it gets to actually do the next thing, it's gone because the cache cleaned up. So anyway, he goes into more detail about this and explains it, and it was like I actually got that one, probably because I've run into similar issues with my own code, while loops that never finish and stuff like that, overheating a machine, blowing up things, crashing machines at conferences. That's my specialty. But
you do it well.
I do. That's my specialty. But he also had another one where he's talking about application scope proxies. And so you probably, weren't sure. Based on this article, he starts talking about that. And so this is a follow-up on that one there. He looked at some, application scope access stuff, and it talks about how you shouldn't actually access the application scope in one people's code other than via a proxy. And, so it's basically he's taking what happened in their code and tries to talk about best practices. And actually on the way home I listened to some clean code on the plane and we had some discussions. It was pretty neat. So I think these types of blog articles you can really learn a lot from. And Adam might sound a little harsher than he is in real life. He's a big teddy bear, but yeah, he's got a lot of good programming background to learn from, and he is pretty solid with his learning. So he's definitely one of those things you learn a lot from him. So
yeah, absolutely. Now, you know what? I only say nice things about Adam now. Otherwise, I'll end up on his blog with another quote. So Adam is okay by me.
Yeah.
Thumbs up. Okay, so coming up next, we got a blog article from Pete Freitag on ways to suppress a finding in Fixnator. If you don't know what Fixnator is, it's this awesome tool put out by Pete. Man, alliteration. Put out by Pete. That goes through, scans your code, and finds things that might be security issues, gives recommendations. And the blog article just kind of talks about ways that if you need to suppress some things, what you can do to do that. So maybe you got some false positives or whatnot. But go check that out. And if you haven't used Fixnator, check that out too. He does these great tools, and he does them for us, or us meaning the Royal Cold Fusion community.
Yep, for sure. Okay, next up, Adam Cameron has another one where he talks about invoke implicit accessor on CFCs and how there's an application variable for that. So you want to jump in and read that one. It's pretty detailed. I'm not going to try and give a summary because I'll do it badly. But I think it was first released in CF10, so it was just interesting. He said the actual original functionality was pretty cool, but it's just very low on documentation. So he's tried to go through a little bit here and give some more detail. So check that out. But basically, if you guys don't know what accessors are, it's about gets and sets on things. So the implicit accessors, I think, just gives you a way to actually do it automatically without having to do accessors equals true on your CFCs. But again, I have to read through it in more detail. So again, it's like not very well documented. So he walks through all of this different stuff. But yeah. So anyway, check out Adams for that. We'll share the link there for you. What else do we have?
We kind of announced this already, but Bradwood Ortus CommandBox 5.6.0 released. It's a minor release for the CLI and Package Manager. 25 completed tickets, bug fixes, new features, libraries updated, all the goodness, and it's free.
Gotta love that.
Oh! Breaking news: Scott Steinbeck says 5.6.1.
Yep, I know. We just haven't blogged that one, so that's why we don't have a blog post. But
yeah.
But 5.6.1 is out, and again for CBWire, I think they're up to 2.0.2 or something like that. So.
Man, late breaking news. Why did Scott? You do a pull request and get us to 5.6.1? Is that what happened, or?
Yeah, they probably brought something into the box. Yeah.
Brad was bored on his flight home and fixed it.
Yep. So next up, we also have another blog post from Ben Adele talking about tokenizing date time values in CFML. And so this one here, he was talking about the previous one, which was Ben Adele's post on bucketing dates using Floor and Cold Fusion, and James Moberg got into the conversation and gave him some, basically gave him some feedback on different approaches. And so those ones there about, again, bucketing dates, because dates are essentially an integer behind the scenes, numeric versions of dates, and you can do some cool stuff with them. And so, again, I like it when James gets in the conversation, because he's usually got some interesting ideas on things too. So if you're looking at using dates and, wanting to loop through things with buckets of dates, this is pretty neat, the way Ben and James sort of handle it in different directions. So there's two good blog posts there. And then we go back to an interesting problem, and this came up on the Working Code podcast, where Ben Adele, one of his co-hosts, is Carol Hamilton, who is no longer Carol Hamilton, and so she's Carol Wheeler, and all around the web, her name needed to change. And so when she updated things like LinkedIn, it changed her profile name, which changed her profile link, which means every episode, like 90 episodes of their podcast, now links to a URL that no longer works for her. So Ben had to do some work. He was talking about using JSoup to fix these post-marriage name changes. And so he was, using JSoup to grab names and URLs and links and fix them using JSoup. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, it makes you think like, a big old thing. You'd think they'd have redirects or something. I mean, we even ForgeBox learned that if you change the name of something, it'll break everything when you do that. So we've set up some redirects. But yeah, so that was just a cool approach that Ben shared on using JSoup to solve those types of things. So pretty cool.
You say Ben went to work. I say Ben went and had some fun and figured that out.
Well, Ben has fun all the time. I mean, he gets up for 2 hours of fun before work just to work on his stuff and then blog about it when he's at a point he can share it. But yeah, Ben schedules his fun every morning, and then Lucee, his dog, gives him fun all day long.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the next blog from Pete Freitag again. I didn't realize this. Simple parallel execution is now in the latest Cold Fusion or Lucee. It's been Lucee for a while, but since 2021 now supports it as well.
Yep, that's something that I know we had some asynchronous stuff. There was a workshop, ITB, etc. But yeah, the parallels and excuse me. But yeah, so you can basically turn on the parallel, and he's got a little example walking through here. But he does mention when you start multi-threading, you get synchronization issues. It's harder to do stuff like you can't dump in a thread. You can't get certain things out of the thread because it doesn't have the same request scope and everything. So threading and all that stuff comes a whole new series of problems, but it can run a whole lot faster when you do parallel. So you can see here the array each has a parallel and a max threads you add onto it. It is pretty cool, and for certain things that you're just crunching data, it works really great. I know Brad's done some comparisons there too.
And looky, you can click the link and run your example on TryCF.
Yep, that's pretty cool. And there's even more TryCF features coming. We're going to be working with Abram Adams over at TryCF to try and make it bigger and better. He's got a cool roadmap. Check all that out in the keynote. Again.
Oh, he's not going to try. He's going to do it. That guy's awesome.
Yep. He's going to do CF. Okay.
So I got another article blog article from Grant Copley. CBWire version 2 is released. So I know we're giving Grant a lot of love today, and well, he deserves it. So there you go, Grant. If you're listening, you are loved. Basically, they got the new version of CBWire. Go check it out. I saw demos of this and in the box. It's just really, really cool what he's been doing with this stuff. And
yep, yeah. I like the logo. It's pretty amazing.
Oh yeah, that's cool too.
Yeah. But yeah, the turbo integration is nice. The file upload stuff is pretty cool. So it'll preview stuff before you upload, and it's got a lot of cool stuff. Dependency injection, validation, JavaScript life cycles, testing, query strings, dirty state. I mean, it's really getting full featured. And so I basically threatened him that we might do some coding with the Kiwis coming up. Basically trying to do some CBWire conversions of the app that we did for Adobe, Developer Week. Essentially the whole developer feud box wars. And so we did it in Vue. We outputted it all these different ways. It's like, what would it take? And how could we do it in CBWire? So that might be kind of a cool thing, and we might do it through Coding with a Kiwi, or we might do it as a CFCasts. But obviously Coding with a Kiwi's live, so you get to see me mess up live as I learn CBWire, because I haven't used it yet. So I thought that'd be kind of cool. So I'll have Grant, Mr. CBWire, over my shoulders telling me what I'm doing wrong and how to fix it. And so I thought that'd be kind of a cool thing. So we might be bringing Coding with a Kiwi back here pretty soon. And I'll give you... Yeah, and I'll give you some more ideas when we get to the Patreon section about some other crazy ideas I've got.
I want to make 2 quick comments really quick. Dan Codd says he's actually saying you either do CF or don't CF. There is no try. I swear, I looked at that. I'm like, what's doc CF? Doc CF.
Doc CF.
What are you trying to say, Dan? Oh, my gosh. And then you mentioned that really cool logo on CBWire. Actually, the Ortus design team has been doing an awesome, amazing job with a lot of these product logos. And I'm
Yeah,
just really blown away by all the cool stuff they come up with. And yeah, I don't know exactly who did which one, so I don't want to call them out by name, all by name, but just know that the Ortus design team is just making us all look so good.
they really
And
do. I mean, yeah, Jonathan.
Jonathan for sure. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've got some new designers. I mean, we've just got a big team, and then Maria Jose has been helping us with a lot of stuff too. She's been doing a lot of the marketing and
Oh, she's
everything.
amazing.
Yep, and like her stuff just looks good. Like the designs and everything is really professional. So you'll see all those cool little coming up tweets, and when we kind of flooded Twitter a little bit with all the great sessions. But yeah, she's done a great job. And yes, it's really good. I think Claudia's a new person too, been helping on that. Esme's been around for a long time. She sort of sort of guides over. But yeah, they're just knocking out some great stuff. The shirt I'm wearing, which is green, so it looks see-through.
Can't see it.
Yep, I can't see it. But I've got the senior developer with the sombrero on my back, which was one of the shirts we gave out. But there was also another shirt we gave out too. So we gave out the new CFML initiative. So there's a new logo for that. There's a new shirt. There's new sites coming. CFML Rocks. There's a lot of cool stuff coming. Check out the recap for more on that. So
Yep.
we'll be doing
I was
that
gonna
Friday.
I was gonna wear mine today, and it got stuck in the laundry. So sorry, everybody. You have to tune in on Friday to see Gavin model the new CFML shirt, which is also another awesome logo. Man,
Yeah, it's really cool, and that's probably the best, and you should see the video. It's even better, so you'll check out that one. We got a new video for it, a little intro video. You'll see that Friday as well, because it's amazing.
yep. So thank you to all the design team and everyone that helps make us look cool, because you do.
For sure. Okay, so next up, we have Find a Job, and this week we have two new jobs. Well, this fortnight, we have two new jobs on the list since it's been a couple weeks. But I'll share my screen. So we got a senior software engineer in Montgomery, Alabama, and then we have a Cold Fusion developer at Remote. So if we look here, so this one looks for Serco, North America. Bring your experience and collaborative skills, improving their military defense planning and combat readiness. That sounds pretty interesting. And then the other position, did I click on this one, or is it the same one? I might have. Nope. So this one is for CCN Technology Services, seeking Adobe Cold Fusion developer with experience integrating SAML SSO into Cold Fusion SaaS applications. So a couple of nice ones there. Some flexible pay on this remote contract. We can obviously find more details there, but we have some other posts as usual.
Post these as well really quick here.
Yep, no problem. Sorry, I just talked over Daniel's spot there, but
It's okay. I just pasted over your spot, so we're even.
Yep. So some other job links. Ortus is always looking for new developers who are ready to evangelize CFML and get busy helping our clients modernize and just improve their businesses. But
Not die, just modernize.
Yeah, exactly. Because we're not going to let you die. We're going to help you modernize and do all the cool stuff we want to do. But there's also another job I sort of posted, and just wanted to share that one too. So this was from Oak Ridge National Laboratory in Tennessee. And this one, it's a good description here. Lots of details. We'll share the link. But it was a pretty good salary range, so I was pretty surprised when I saw that pop up, because all the different states, different price ranges and everything, but I think it was like the 110 to 135 or something, so it was definitely a higher paying job in the Cold Fusion world. But great to see they're looking for some Cold Fusion developers. So job options are out there. Remember, get cfmljobs.com for all your job options. And then next up,
Oh, hey, and also check out the Slack, CFML Slack team for the jobs channel. I've seen lots of postings recently.
Cool.
And even one of them from our friend John Wilson.
That's right, yep.
Yeah, but go check. I don't think there's a link in there, but go check that out. In the last couple of weeks, you'll see several positions posted, and it's CFML Slack. It's a great resource.
Yep, and we have some of the box team Slack too. But yeah,
Oh, absolutely.
the CFML Slack is definitely a lot more people, a lot more pumping. But yeah, so check out both of them. There's lots of great stuff in there. Okay, next up, ForgeBox module of the week, and this one was actually one that was spotlighted in the keynote, but also at Into the Box. It was sort of a big announcement, really. We have CB Commerce. So CB Commerce is an e-commerce module for the CommandBox platform. The UI module is a special separate module for the user interface module, and basically the link that Daniel's sharing is the CB Commerce main module, and so that one has 3 different pieces. So there's an admin module for obviously administrating your e-commerce. Then we have an API module that allows the UI to communicate, and then you've got the UI. So there's 3 different modules there, and John talked about it. We've actually got the slides that we're putting in there as well. So we've been working for quite a long time with several big clients about getting this up and running, and it's got a lot of features. It's not just like a little shopping cart. It's not a little simple Shopify or old PayPal buy button. It's actually a real big quality e-commerce platform, yeah. And they originally built it into CommandBox because the customers they were working with were CommandBox, and they've worked hard to be able to basically pull it apart and separate it out so you can use it in any CommandBox app without CommandBox as well. So that's version 1, I believe. Again, big announcement at Into the Box, and so check it out. If you guys got feedback, John Clausen is leading that project, but again, there's a lot of customers that are using that one. We've worked hard in collaboration with some of them, and yeah, we're interested and excited to get that being used by more CFML developers out there. So I know that Slatwall was one that people used to use, which is highly configurable, made it a little complicated, but I think they went paid just like Mira did. So once that happened, we got some of those bigger customers coming saying, we need a commerce platform. And so yeah, find out more information on ForgeBox. Okay. VS Code, hint, tip, and trick of the week. Which one do we have this week?
Well, it's Adobe ColdFusion Builder extension for VS Code.
Very cool. Much awaited.
Yeah, they launched this in July at the Dev Week.
Yep.
Go ahead, Gavin.
I was going to say I'm sharing my screen, but yeah, they announced this. Mark Takata used it for a long time. They did a beta, but they've had a couple of sessions using it. So the Adobe Developer Week is a great place to go look and find out more about it. So they released some videos there from basically presenting them using it, all the work throughs, and there's a lot in this. I was surprised how much it does. So you can automate repetitive tasks, navigate code for a smoother process, enjoy built-in IntelliSense code completion, better semantic code understanding and code refactoring, identify security vulnerabilities and maintain integrity of your code, manage your work with extensions, remote project support, integrated server management, log viewer, and more, and customize every feature, by creating shortcuts, etc., formatting, reusing code. But yeah, if we scroll down, you'll see the ColdFusion server panels in here. You've got RDS, so those who loved RDS and Eclipse, they now have it inside of VS Code. And they've got the PMTs, the performance management tools, the code profiler report, and then the security analyzer report, code assist, so you got nice completion, code refactoring, so you can actually rename and rename it, and then everywhere that uses it can be redone. They've got quick fix options, a lot more, but they have a little link here, and I think Daniel's already shared it. This is sort of a good example. Like, they've got all these blog posts, all this code and demonstration, and looks pretty neat. Now, I know that in the beta there was a few people having issues getting it up and running, so basically you need to just go get it out. I know a lot of people are using it, testing it, and tweaking it, but yeah, so let us know if you guys have any feedback on it. I know some people are struggling to get it to work with certain things using CommandBox and then ColdFusion, and they're trying to get it to connect and stuff. A lot of people are using just traditional installs, so a lot with it. Obviously it's still the first version release, so giving them some feedback, but it's really exciting to see them do that and move away from Eclipse, and VS Code's where it's at, right? And it's good to see them supporting standards, right? So I'm pretty excited about that. So
yeah, and there is a VS Code session at Into the Box, or I'm sorry, at CF Summit. You cannot go to it, Gavin, because it's unfortunately during your time slot.
Oh well, you'll
But
have
there
to go.
is a sneak peek into Code Fusion Builder on VS Code.
Yep, very cool. And I'm sure Mark Takata's going to be doing some more sessions on it in his little live streams or something as well. But yeah, I know that they're all using it, so I'm excited. So go check it out. Give us your feedback, and then report back.
Question there from Danielle. What's the name of the new timesheets box solution? Gavin, you want to tell them?
We call it TimeBox. Surprise, surprise. But it's actually TimeBox BMP, so it's a business management platform. And so if you go to timeboxbmp.io, you can see that. I'll share my screen for those watching, but that's one of the other things we announced. So we basically built this up. We used to use FreshBooks, and we've been working towards improving it, adding more reports, more scalable stuff. And so here, put in your email address to get notified, and they are starting to open up this for betas. So drop that in there, and if you guys are interested in becoming a beta tester for this, we have it. Our whole El Salvador team is using it. We're working on a whole bunch of different teams and getting those trials basically up and running. So check that out. Hopefully it'll be your replacement for FreshBooks. But again, it's not just timekeeping. It's business management made easy. So tons of reporting, tons of features, lots of security and stuff. It's all API, and guess what? They're building in Quasar, Vue.js, Quasar, CommandBox APIs, REST, validation, documentation. It's basically Ortus, dog fooding, right? Using all our own tools to produce that. So
you leave that screen up there, Gavin. If you notice that really awesome looking logo, just another. Oh, you close your screen
because you said right as I clicked it. It's back. It's back.
Yeah, just really impressed with our designers and all the cool things. I love how they incorporate the Ortus swirl. Is it a swirl?
Yeah, I call it a swirl.
Ortus swirl. Just very clever. Anyway.
Yep. Very cool.
I'm just feeling the love today. Putting it out there.
It's nice to appreciate those who do good work. Some people, they really live on that. Wasn't the 5 languages of love or something? There's a thing, and it's like certain people have different types, and some people live off praise, and if they don't have it, they'll wilt and die. And it's not hard to give a little praise when it's deserved. And and if you're one of those people that needs the praise, then you're even more sort of aware of that. And we got to give it to receive it. So
yeah, I'm just we work with some really awesome people, Gavin, and you know that. I know that. And not everyone else knows that too. Giancarlo asked if there'll eventually be a cost. I'm sure there will be. Do you guys have a plan releasing? I don't know yet. All I can say for the moment is go ahead and sign up to be notified. I don't know when anything's coming yet.
Yeah, I don't have details on that either. So once we know, we'll let you know. But yeah, sign up, and then if you're interested, again, ping us. We'll put you in charge of one of those people that do know, and they can give you more information and maybe talk to you about getting into the beta or something. So we're rolling it out. We're getting more and more people using it. So, but yeah.
I mean, worst case, go contact Jorge. He's always good he's always a guy you go to for everything.
Yep. So for sure. Okay, next up, Patreon. So thank you, Patreon supporters. We appreciate you. We really thank you. And then you guys are awesome, suave Patreon supporters.
Suave. I like that you're like picking up on Eric's trend. Wow. Giving him an adjective, right?
Well, it was on the docs, so maybe he used it last time, and I just thought you put it in there.
Suave, if you're into the box Latam. Okay, so thank you to everybody, these individuals responsible for supporting all our open source initiatives, CommandBox, ForgeBox, CodeBox, ContentBox, TestBox, and all the other great boxes. We keep able to do what we do, ForgeBox, everything, project management, that's a lot. As always, you can support us on Patreon. We'll go ahead and paste that link. Don't forget, we do have annual memberships. You pay for the year and save 10%, which is great for businesses. Bronze packages and up, you now get a ForgeBox Pro and a CFCast subscription as a perk. All Patreon supporters have a profile badge on the community website. We'll post that, community.ortussolutions.com. All Patreon supporters have their own private forum access on the community website. All Patreon supporters have their own private channel access to the Box Team Slack. And all Patreon supporters have live access stream to Coding with the Kiwi and friends. All part of the Patreon subscription. So go ahead and check that out. And Gavin is typing
Yes, so I wanted to throw things by everyone on the podcast first before I talk to everyone at Ortus to get some feedback. So let me know, hit me up in Slack if you got any ideas or give me some feedback on my ideas. But I like the things like coding with a Kiwi and friends. Getting somebody else involved and doing some live streams just for Patreon, some Patreon exclusives. And so we talked about maybe doing some office hours once a month for people just to come and ask questions and we sort of like ad hoc give some answers and everything else. But I also thought about, again, sort of coding with a Kiwi or, just sort of live coding sessions about CBWire version of the developer feud game, sort of building that out. And then maybe some other ideas too. If you guys say, hey, I want to see how you would do this, sort of like a request, like, hey, this is something I want to build. We always need to build this. Can you show us how you guys would build it? And, so give us some ideas on that. But the other thing was, as I mentioned, on the plane, I was listening to Uncle Bob's Clean Code book. And I was listening with Scott Steinbeck. We just basically paired up, and then we'd keep stopping and have these conversations. And the Working Code podcast did a little book club type thing where they talk. Sorry, everybody. Had some technical difficulties there. Apparently, OBS didn't like me, but I should be back. So, what I was trying to say before that.
Or didn't like your crazy ideas, Gavin.
Yeah, I mean, OBS doesn't even like my ideas. That's pretty bad. But, so what I was trying to say is, it's like, there's a lot of software books out there, a lot of software craftsman books, and a lot of them apply directly to Cold Fusion, and some of them, are a little bit different. They never have examples in Cold Fusion. So I was thinking about starting a software craftsman book club where we can meet and discuss different elements of the book, and some of them even have like examples, and like, well, maybe we could like pair program, write the example in a Cold Fusion way. We could discuss what applies to Cold Fusion and what doesn't, because a lot of things in Clean Code, talks about a statically typed language, and we're dynamic, and we could do some cool stuff that you just can't do in other languages. And so maybe some of these rules don't apply the same, and so maybe we could have some sort of a general software craftsman type discussion. And I thought that'd be pretty cool to include the Patreons as like a little exclusive. So maybe we could do, I don't know if we want to do it like weekly, monthly, where we just sort of meet up and like talk about a couple of elements or like a chapter a week or something. I don't know. So give me some feedback. Let me know what you guys think. Would you be interested in attending like a software craftsman's like book club where we could discuss certain things? And obviously we'll try and get some of the bigger people from the community involved too. Like we want to have, some of the experts and, like Luis and Brad, they're design patent kings, and there's other people in the community, of equivalent stature that I'd like to hear their opinions on some of this. So don't just listen to me. Like we'll get some important people too, and then just sort of have a discussion. I think it would be kind of cool.
Would you envision this to be kind of like coding with the Kiwi, where it's initially an exclusive for Patreons, but then someday released to the ether?
Yeah, I think so. Be again more content for CFCasts, but I want to give the Patreon something special, something exclusive, and so including them in this, and then they can have a voice too. So that's what I was thinking. Again, lots of things. I don't know if we want to do like, okay, well, the book club will be once a month. We'll do a coding with the Kiwi once a month, and we'll just sort of have each week there's something different. Maybe we have an office hours. I don't know. So give me guys something to think about, but those are going to be Patreon exclusives. We want to give back, and so let us know what you guys think, what you like, what would you be interested in attending. And again, there's a lot of great books out there. Another one I wanted to do was the testing by example, the TDD by example. I think Kent Dodds wrote that one, and again, all of the examples are not in Cold Fusion. So if we do that one, what we could do is convert the examples over to Cold Fusion at the same time, and then we have like a testing cookbook. Basically, we're going to build as we go. See, so then we have something else to make available. So anyway, that's my ideas. I got all these ideas, lots of ideas. So tell me which ones are reasonable and which ones you'd like to see, and we'll go from there.
Software Craftsman Book Club with a Kiwi.
Yep. Or without me even, but I'll probably attend, but it doesn't have to be me. But anyway, so let me know what you guys think, and anyway, back to the Patreons, because they're the ones that we're here to thank, and we got some new ones. So into the box, we had a few attendees. So Kavan Venice, Abdul Rahim, and Nolan Irk are all new Patreons, and they were all attendees, whether virtual or in person on site, and they loved the conference. They wanted to support us and thank us for what we're doing, and so they are now our newest Patreons. So we've got a few more on the list. So It's very cool, and I appreciate every one of you guys for supporting us. Whose turn to mess up the names? Because we will mispronounce your names in public. That's what I promised in the keynote, so we got to do it.
You know what? I'll do it because I think I gave you more to talk about then. So
sounds good.
We'll
I'll breathe. You talk.
Okay. So Patreons: John Wilson with Synaptrex, Jordan Clark, Gary Knight, Mario Rodriguez, Giancarlo Gomez, David Bellinger, Dan Codd, Jonathan Parrott, Jeffrey McGee with Sunstar Media, Dean Maunder, Will DeBruin, Nolan Irk, Abdul Raheen, Joseph Lamery, Don Bellamy, Jan Yannick, Lakshmi Tirtahadi, Brian Gianelli with Haggerty Motorsport Reg, Cara Von Stetten, Jeremy Adams, Didier Lesnicki, Matthew Clemente, Daniel Garcia, Scott Steinbeck with Agri Tracking Systems, Ben Nadell, Richard Herbert, Brett DeLine, Kai Koenig, Charlie Earhart, Jason Diger, Sean Oden, Matthew Darby, Ross Phillips, Edgardo Cabezas, Patrick Flynn, Stephanie Mongi, Kevin Wright, John Wish, Peter Meary, and Kavan Vanis. Okay, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. But you can see all up to a list of all our sponsors on the Ortus Solutions website at ortussolutions.com/about-us/sponsors.
Yep, we're having technical difficulties. We're having vocabulary difficulties.
And I should have you read.
It's okay. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much, and thanks to everybody who could make it into the box, either online or in person. I think it was a huge success, and it was because of all of you. And thank you, amazing speakers too, because without them we would only be Ortus talking. And although we'd probably fill up half the sessions, it's great to have the other half by community members, and it's cool to see different people using tools the way other people use them, because you build them and you expect to use them a certain way. I always get a kick when I see people like Abram Adams using CommandBox and building modules, and Scott Steinbeck always building crazy things with the PDF tools and everything else. So it was awesome. I really appreciated it, enjoyed it a lot, and I can't wait till middle of May 2023 for the next Into the Box. So put your calendars, ask your boss for some budget, and we'll see you all there. And anyway, under 90 minutes is pretty good, but remember, Friday, Into the Box recap. We'll go into more detail, hear from Luis, Brad, Eric, the Ortus crew, and see what you might have missed and what you can see next time. So
awesome.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great one, and we will see you next week, and back to our normal 60 minutes, hopefully. Have a good one.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Show notes for this episode can be found at cfmlnews.modernize.io, where you can also subscribe to your favorite podcast player like Spotify or iTunes. We also have the link to YouTube to find more videos just like this. The music used in this podcast is under a royalty-free license from Sound.com and Blue Tree Audio.